With ships sailing full and all the major cruise lines saying that on average they're sailing at 104% capacity, the techniques that I used to use and spoke about in the past, even as recently as this video from 2 years ago, to get cruise cabin upgrades no longer work. But after some rethinking, I've successfully cracked how to still get upgrades today. Welcome on board, I'm Gary Bembridge, and I know you can score upgrades like I have because I've just helped a whole bunch of people booking on one of my future group cruises land upgrades on that one too. Now in the past, I found one of the easiest ways to get an upgrade was to wait until I was actually on board the ship and simply ask guest services what better cabins were available, pay a small token fee and upgrade. But now every cruise I go on has the sign at guest services saying there can be no cabin changes because the ship is sailing full. These days, instead of leaving it late, I now have to start early. In fact, looking at upgrading when actually booking. This year, I see cruise lines, especially during key sales periods, offering promotions where I book one grade but get given a grade or two higher, so I can lock in an upgrade when I book to get more bang for my buck. This is now actually one of my main tools for getting upgrades these days. For example, just a few weeks before I made this, by waiting for one of those sales, I booked one of my bucket list cruises and got a bigger cabin 2 grades above at the price of a standard entry-level balcony cabin. Now the cruise itself is going down the west coast of Africa, from Barcelona all the way to Cape Town. It's a long cruise, 25 days, so it was a big budget stretch anyway. I really didn't want to be in a small cabin cruising for all that time, so that upgrade promotion got me what the line calls a concierge grade cabin. Not only is it bigger, but it then came with perks like a pre-cruise hotel stay, transfers, things like coffee machine in the cabin, and laundry. So for the same price as an entry-level balcony cabin at any other time, I was able to get an upgrade by doing it this way. The key sales periods to look out for include the wave season. This is normally at the start of every year when many people are looking to book cruises and the lines have to offer appealing promotions to stand out. Also at the end of every quarter of the year, I see them often doing flash sales, I assume because they're trying to hit some particular sales targets. Of course, Black Friday as well. I've already seen these upgrade deals in the past year from cruise lines of all categories. I've seen them for Carnival, Norwegian, MSC Cruises, Celebrity, Princess Cruises and Virgin Voyages. I also see these, by the way, often when cruise lines launch new itineraries because they want to lock us into future cruises way ahead of time, and so offering us upgrades is a good way of doing that. So how do you make sure that you know when these upgrades are being offered? Well, I get my agent to watch out for them, of course, but also I'm signed up to receive email newsletters from all the cruise lines that I'm interested in. I also follow them on social media because those two things are where I most often see them announce these upgrade deals. As many of these are run as flash sales lasting 8 hours, 24 hours, you need to be on top of it. This tip is how I've generated upgrades on several of my cruises that I've booked for this and into next year, including that Africa one that I've already mentioned. Now the second tip is one I used to be way more wary of, but these days definitely plays a much bigger role in getting upgrades, particularly when booking an inside, ocean view, or one of the lower grade balcony cabins. This is bidding for upgrades. The opportunity to do these kicks in the run-up to a cruise, usually roughly about a month before. Only a few lines used to offer this, but now it seems this year most are offering it. Even the staid premium cruise line Cunard has ditched offering free upgrades to cruisers like me with high loyalty status, instead inviting me to bid for an upgrade in the run-up, for example, to my recent Queen Anne cruise. In the weeks before other cruises that I've done in the last year, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Line, MSC Cruises, every single one of them sent me emails offering the chance to bid to be upgraded. With free upgrades more of a thing of the past, bidding is now more of a way to get an upgrade than ever before. But a couple of things to watch out if you are thinking of bidding. First of all, I always make sure that I don't bid too high, and I check how much it would cost me to simply upgrade. I've met so many people on board cruises who discovered that they got carried away and they bid more to upgrade than if they'd just simply done it themselves. Next, I check the cabin grades I'm being invited to bid on to see if there's any availability. If there are several at those grades above me, it suggests there's a good chance of getting an upgrade if I bid. Now on that Cunard trip I was talking about, we're actually going there to celebrate my partner and my birthdays, and we've splashed out on a high grade cabin, and all the grades above it were completely sold out, so I knew there was no or little chance to get an upgrade anyway. And thirdly, linked to that, bidding usually works best when booked in lower grades like inside, ocean view or entry-level balcony cabins, because those are the cabins that the cruise lines are most trying to get passengers like you and me to shift up from. First, because of course they're going to make more money if we do upgrade from those cabins, but also it's way easier to resell and clear any of those leftover cabins in the run-up to a cruise to people who are looking for a last-minute cruise bargain. Another big watch out if planning to bid for an upgrade is if you are, like me, often cruising solo, the bid is a price per person based on double occupancy. So I will usually not bid because I will end up paying double. So it's a huge, huge cost. This leads me to what is going to sound a slightly unusual tip for upgrading, but one that can work enormously well. It's one many of my friends use to upgrade these days right now. And this is to cruise on repositioning cruises or to sail out of season, because you can usually get on a better cruise line or into a bigger cabin than any other time of the year for way less money. Repositioning cruises are when cruise lines move their ships from one region at the end of a season to another region that is coming into season. The main repositioning cruises are between the Mediterranean and Alaska, heading to and from the Caribbean, and they happen in April and October. But they also happen to and from Asia and Australia, but in way smaller numbers. The prices for cabins are usually much lower on repositioning cruises because they have many sea days, they're longer cruises, so they appeal to fewer people. Friends of mine, for example, are huge fans of the small ship luxury Viking cruise line, but they simply can't afford to cruise Viking on their regular cruises in the seasons. So every year they book on a Viking repositioning cruise between the Caribbean and Europe because they're able to get onto a Viking ship and in fact in one of the higher grade cabins for what it costs them on other premium lines like Holland America or Princess for the rest of the year. Others that I meet use repositioning cruises to be able to cruise in a suite, for example, on a ship versus the normal balcony cabin that their budget normally allows to do. 2 years ago, I used out of season sailing to be able to sail on Viking. I sailed in March in the Mediterranean and I could afford to upgrade, in fact, even to a high grade penthouse veranda suite for the price of a regular entry-level balcony cabin in the season. So out of season sailings are another way of upgrading your cabin within your budget. Although these next two tips used to be very successful at getting upgrades, they're proving less so right now, but I still recommend that you should try them, but just be aware that I'm seeing less frequent success. And of course that hopefully will change as things evolve. As cruise lines now get us to bid for upgrades and ships are selling so full, auto upgrades are less common these days, it seems, but still on most cruise lines when you book, you can either opt in or opt out of being considered for an auto upgrade. This means if there are higher cabins free, there is a chance that you'll be upgraded if you've said you allow an auto upgrade. Now, I personally tend not to do this because I don't get any say in the cabin that I'm being upgraded to. I literally just get moved. I have no chance to refuse it, and I can't keep the cabin that I've booked. Now, I don't like that because I'm quite fussy about my cabin location. But importantly, by the way, many lines require you to actively opt out of auto upgrades when booking if you don't want to be considered for one, so that's important to bear in mind. Another technique which used to be very successful for me was fare tracking. I would input my cruise into sites like Cruise Watch and other sites, and you can find what those sites are and how to do fare tracking on a post on my blog at tipsfortravellers.com, cruise-ship-fare-tracking. If I saw fares go down, I would contact the cruise line and basically negotiate to get a refund of the fare, extra onboard credit, or in most cases, get upgraded to the cabin that the fare I was paying had now moved to. Now, this had been the most effective way that I was getting upgrades, but cruise lines are not really playing ball anymore. First of all, because the ships are so full, so they actually don't feel the need to. And secondly, we're seeing it so much, and then arguing nowadays that when I kind of book, the price is locked in, it's kind of a promotional price, it's locked in, and they will not match. So it's proving to be less successful. But it is still worth tracking and asking the line to upgrade your cabin to match the new fare. I believe it is. Do keep trying it. Expect it to be less effective, but some people are having success. If the fare moves down, contact the cruise line and see if they will upgrade you. Another amazing upgrade trick that I do want to talk about, I discovered, and it's specific to Holland America. Holland America has something called Club Orange, which anybody can buy from inside cabin upwards. Club Orange costs from around $15 a day per person, and one of the key perks is a guaranteed stateroom upgrade to the next available grade. Now I'm arranging a group cruise in 2026 on Holland America, and the travel agent I'm working with to do those bookings discovered that if we got people to book and buy Club Orange at the lowest grade of balcony cabin, not only were they upgraded to a higher available grade, but into a grade that would have cost them, if they booked it directly, way more than the combined cost of the lower grade and Club Orange. They saved a nice chunk of money. Plus, of course, then with Club Orange comes other upgrade perks like a bigger room service menu, priority seating areas in the dining room, a concierge service, tote bag, priority embarkation, disembarkation, and so much more. So there's lots of added upgrades there too. We managed to get many people on my group cruise upgraded on that future group cruise while also saving them money. If you'd like to know more tips that smart cruisers use like this, join me over in this video where I talk about 7 more, including one that also saves you money and loads of stress every time. See you over there.